If you're an Etsy seller, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is waiting until everyone else starts talking about a trend before you start creating products for it. By then, you're already late. Successful sellers are often researching and listing products months in advance, giving Etsy time to understand their listings and reward them with more visibility in search. Think about your local craft stores, for example. When you start seeing Valentine's Day decorations in December or Halloween supplies in July, that's not because they're rushing the season. It's because retailers know shoppers start planning much earlier than most people realize. And the same thing happens on Etsy, which means if you want to capitalize on the biggest trends in 2026 and beyond, the time to start your research literally any time of the year is right now. So for those who are new here, I'm Leslie and I help Etsy sellers discover profitable product ideas and grow their shops using data instead of guesswork. And one of my favorite tools for finding trending products quickly is EverBee Research. Instead of spending hours scrolling through Etsy hoping to stumble across a winning idea, EverBee's actually going to allow you to see what's already selling, uncover hidden opportunities, and spot trends before they ever become saturated. So let's jump over to a live walkthrough and I'm going to show you exactly how I use EverBee to find top-selling Etsy trends for 2026 fast.
All right, guys, so your first inclination might be to go ahead and start scrolling through Etsy, or maybe even just typing some stuff into the search bar, scrolling through those searches, or even you might have the inclination to come and click up on these different options here or in the categories. And while all of those are super good ideas to start with, they are not the most data-driven. So what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to show you how EverBee can actually do all of this research for you in a matter of seconds so that you can get to the answers a lot faster. The first thing I like to do is not even type anything into the search bar at all. I actually go over here to my EverBee extension and click on Product Analytics first. So what you'll see here is we are currently looking at 46 listings, but we want to be able to look at the entire database that EverBee has access to on Etsy. So we're going to go ahead and click EverBee Database. Now you can see we are over 169 million listings here, and that is way, way, way too much for us to obviously start looking into. So of course, you can type into the search bar anything related to your niche if you'd like to start that research first. I actually, however, like to get a little bit of a broader scope to see what's trending across the board and not fine-tune myself into my niche specifically quite yet. So the first thing I like to do is either build a new filter myself by simply coming over here and clicking a filter and choosing the different filter options that I want, or you can even use these 3 built-in intentionally curated filters that EverBee has built for you. So you can see our new and hot is highlights new listings that are already gaining strong traction with buyers. Rapid growth is younger listings showing exceptional momentum in sales and or engagement. And then trending is shows new listings quickly building popularity through high buyer interest and visibility. Now you'll see this right here is actually one that I personally created myself, because you do have the ability to build a new filter from scratch and actually save it up here so that you can go back to that exact same filtered search on many different searches in the future. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. If you click New Filter, you'll see these start to come up below here, and it allows you to figure out exactly what you want to be looking up in the future. So in this case, let's say I want to look at all listings that have a minimum of 50 sales per month, and I also want to make sure that their growth rate is no less than 100% on a month-to-month basis. So you can see we are now down to 12.5 thousand listings out of the 169 million we started with. Now let's also think about listing age, because you could see this one's 14 months, this is 14 months. That's not super helpful to me if I'm looking for things that are hot right now. So let's say we also want to put the filter of the listing age max being 6 months, or you can put 3 months, 2 months, whatever you want. So now we are down to 5,000 listings with this curated filter that I built myself. Now, let's say we also wanted to think about the profit margin that you might be experiencing, especially if you are going to be a print-on-demand seller. We may want the price here to be no less than, let's say, $35. And that's going to bring us to now an even more intentionally curated and fine-tuned list at 586 listings to go through. A lot easier than the 169 million we originally started with. So if you'd like to save this filter for the future, you can easily just click Save Filter, and let's say you name it. So let's say $35, growth rate 100%, and then let's say less than 6 months. So that's an easy way for you to come back and grab that filter in the future, no matter what you're searching in product analytics. So you can easily go through this list a lot easier than if we were to have the 169 million listings to choose from. However, today I also want to go ahead and just choose a curated list as well that EverBee already built for me. So I'm going to choose new and hot to get started. Now, new and hot, again, utilizing the parameters we talked about a second ago, is bringing me up 10,060. The cool thing about these filters is, yes, they're already built for you, but you also can edit them by putting more information in here. So again, we're at 10,060 right now. What if I wanted to say price minimum again is $35? Then that's going to bring us down to now 802. So you can take the intentionally curated filters that EverBee has already built for you and then just compound on them based on what matches for your niche. So with that said, that is exactly how to either choose these or how to create your own, again, depending on what niche you're in, what you're normally selling, what the price usually is, the range that you're looking for. Those things are how I like to start this. Then what I like to do is go through the new intentionally curated list. But I don't like to just start scrolling through 800 of these. I really want to make sure that the most explosive ones, the ones that are really having proven demand, are going to be right here at the top. So what I like to do is actually pull my growth rate up. So the highest amount of growth rate percentages are here. Now, a growth rate for our growth plan members is going to show the last 30 days. So you'll see the last month is what is showing up here. I, however, do have the business plan of EverBee Research, so I do have access to all-time data as well. So I actually want to do the last 12 months, even though, as you can see, our listing age is 3 months, because I want to be able to see, have any of these listings done well over time, or are they just doing well right now? So for example, if I were to change the listing age to 12 months, that would obviously give us a few more listings to play with here. But I'm also seeing that there are trends for each of these. Maybe something peaked and then it fell off. Maybe something was only seasonal, or maybe something has stood the test of time and it's more of an evergreen potential option. So this one, for example, is the first thing that's catching my eye. It has gone up over 102,000% over the course of the past 12 months it's been alive. It's generated over $309,000 in revenue. It's in that parameter of no less than $35 per item. So I'm actually seeing it seems to be somewhat steady. There is a little bit of a peak here. So I'm going to click on the peak and see where that's taking place. So you can see we're looking at the past 12 months. The growth rate is here. All this is built out for you. So it looks like there was really no movement in May, but then June we got 27, and then August we blew up to 802. 974. So you're able to see all of the different months leading up to, in this particular case, April of 2026. And you can also obviously pull this down depending on what you have access to. So you can see over the past 6 months, the past 3 months, etc. Now, what if I wanted to see what was potentially pushing this listing? What I would do is actually open this up and see exactly, first of all, what it is. I want to maybe take a look at their mock-ups, maybe take a look at the way they're building out their listing description, etc. But something else that's really, really cool here that EverBee Research gives you is you can also scroll down. You're going to have your daily trends in here, which is helpful, but you can also scroll down here and see what types of SEO they are using. So we have the thing called a keyword score, which is basically just the volume compared to the competition times 1,000. Now that allows us to see, like, is this something that is a place that you could potentially get into? Is there too much competition? So maybe we should try to stay away from it. And then are there maybe unsaturated options that we didn't even think about utilizing or relating to this particular item? So here we go. Even though I will say this is kind of interesting, even though this one, storage basket, is a keyword score of quote unquote 0, I wonder if we were to find storage basket in the keyword research tool, if it potentially could have a higher option. So what I'm going to do is actually come over here to the keyword research tool. And this is, again, something I like to do every time I'm looking for hot trends right now. And I'm going to type in storage basket and click search. And you can see there is, again, search volume 395, competition 137. We already saw that a second ago. But is there a way for us to maybe make this work a little bit better with a higher keyword score, lower competition, but a good amount of volume still is the goal today. So this is actually a really good example right here. So Storage Basket Personalized has 1,141 people looking it up and 9,700 in competition. That is way better than only 395 people looking it up versus 137,000 people in competition. So that might be an option. Another one that I'm seeing here is Toys Basket Storage. Again, really decent, comparable volume to competition ratio. Toys Storage Basket instead of Toys Basket Storage, same concept here. So it seems like there might be other options that that particular seller wasn't using that might have even been able to push them further, or might be able to have you utilize these types of keywords that they weren't using that have far less competition to get something like what they already had out there in the world on the product analytics tab, and you actually start showing up for it fast as well. Okay, so now we are back in product analytics. Just a quick example of how you can utilize product analytics in tandem with the keyword research tool to get new ideas or to get new SEO tags based on people who are already performing right now. Now I want to go back into my new and hot, and I still want to make sure that my price is no more than 35. And then I want to flip that growth rate up to the top again. So now what I'm doing is, again, I want to see only the things that are new and hot right now. So they're currently performing, they're less than 3 months old, as you can see from the listing age here. And again, you'll see from the trends, they are only going to peak over the past 3 months because that's just their age. But let's start looking through a couple of these and see if they're beneficial to us. So you can click on this one and see exactly what it is. There's no reviews here, but it's only a month old and it already has 151 sales, a 343.18% conversion rate. So this might be something for us to look into, maybe save to our favorites if it's something that matches our personal niche. This is something that I've seen recently a lot on Etsy that's doing exceptionally well across a multitude of listings or a multitude of shops right now, is this personalized numerology reading, or a numerology guide, an ebook, whatever it may be, is actually really, really popular on Etsy right now. I've seen this time and time again, but it's more than likely going to come up a couple times in this new and hot research we're doing today. But you can see, again, this one's only 1 month old, has 211 sales, 20 reviews already, and over 108% conversion ratio. Now, if we come down here, we can see that these are actually really, really good keywords that they're choosing to use. Destiny Matrix and Numerology Report, those are currently trending with a lot less competition than a couple of other of these. So these might be things, if you're good in this space or if this makes sense for your niche, might be something to look into. Another one that I found that's 3,100% growth rate is actually this custom first mom, now grandma flower base. So you can see this does say Mother's Day gift, so it was trending more so in the month of May, but something like this can do well for anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's Day even. These can be gifted all year long to mothers or turning into grandmas, because babies are born every single day, and there are baby announcements, unique baby announcements that people are always looking for, including something like this. Now what I want to do is see if there are any digital products. We've mostly been looking at like kind of the personalized, service-based, and the physical products. So if I want to do digital products only, I can simply come over here to the right and type in the listing type space, I want to do digital only. And then that's going to bring our list now down to 74. So it's a lot smaller of a list, but these numbers are not small whatsoever, and these growth rates are not small. So let's see what we got here. So we have some casino stuff, it looks like, another 4-slot partners event for Monopoly Go, some interesting things for like tarot. Oh, this is interesting. I'm finding a GLP-1 meal plan bundle. So GLP-1 is obviously very on trend right now, and it's helping a lot of people out in the world with keeping their weight in check, getting to their goal weight, keeping their body healthy. I don't have any good or bad views or experiences on this necessarily, but what I do like to see is this particular thing obviously does have demand, and again, it is trending completely off of Etsy as well. So it's definitely something to potentially come in and build something, build a PDF, build an ebook, whatever it may be, for people who are already looking stuff like this up. So it's 3 months old, it's got 81 sales. The conversion rate is a little bit smaller than the others, of course, visibility score being also smaller too, but because of the price of this particular item, we are bringing in almost $5,000, give or take, in monthly revenue. So you can see it is a little bit of a bundle of PDFs, I believe is what it looks like. And this is a bestseller, which is awesome. So another really cool thing that I like to do whenever I'm in Etsy is EverBee has this listing details up here at the top. So if you're ever inside an actual listing, you won't lose the information that we originally were using. So we can click on favorites, of course, and add it to our favorites to come back to, or we can simply click open listing details and get right back to all of the information that we were looking at before. Again, we're seeing high protein meals, grocery list plan, meal plan PDF. All of these are really, really good keyword scores, which basically again means volume is high and competition is lower. So that means these things might be something for you to look into. So that is how I like to actually personally start this, because if there is something that is trending out there in the world and that is outside of my niche, but it might be either a design aesthetic, or it might be a type of product, or it might be a target audience that I might not necessarily have thought about beforehand, this allows me to do that research first. Now, what I can do next is either go into this search bar and start typing in all of the other things that I found during my research, or I can start niching down into my individual space. So let's use gardening, for example. So if I type in the word gardening into the Etsy search bar, utilizing my EverBee extension, I'm going to see a couple of different things pop up, and I call these guys my little worker bees. So gardening magnet, I never would have thought about that, but Etsy provided us with that information, and then EverBee provided us with how many people are actually searching the term gardening magnet. So gardening is bringing in obviously 3,900 things, but gardening supplies is bringing in over 571. So looking at these options that Etsy already gives us, we wouldn't have been able to see that this one's not doing too hot, even though Etsy is proposing it to us. And this one isn't doing too hot, even though, again, Etsy is proposing it to us. So we can either type in gardening magnet because we see that it's doing well. We can stick in gardening. Doesn't really matter, but just keeping in mind that your EverBee extension is going to also let you do some high-level searching into keywords and kind of validating whether what Etsy gave us was kind of viable or not. So let's go ahead and search gardening in general. Now, this is one of the absolute favorite things, in my opinion, that they have recently added. So EverBee just dropped this for all of our EverBee research sellers maybe a month ago. So this is a brand new 2026 feature. I absolutely adore this because it just makes filtering out so much easier right here within the Etsy search. So obviously up here, these are things that Etsy is allowing us to filter out. But now we also with EverBee have the ability to do show only. So if you want to only see the ones that are bestsellers, the only ones that are offering free shipping, or only the ones that are popular now, you can simply click any of these and it will filter out that list for you. So you are only going to see bestsellers and popular now or free shipping, whichever one you chose, all the way down the line. And then my second favorite piece here is, as you can see in this first line right here, it says add by. Add by, right? So usually after every third or fourth line of an Etsy search, you're going to see an entire line completely dedicated to ads. And we don't necessarily want to see ads because those aren't being pushed organically. Etsy is not grabbing these and throwing them out into the algorithm because they are performing well and there's good sales momentum. They are doing so because someone is paying them to do so. So I also, not only do I like to click a show only here, but I also like to click hide ads. As you can see from my original search of gardening, there were 26 that were paid ads. That's not really going to help me on my search. So when I'm in here, now I'm only seeing the popular nows or the best sellers or the free shipping. And again, my ads are completely hidden. I also want to do free shipping here with this. It's going to bring it a little bit down, of course, in the amount we have, but I kind of want to see if this is worth it in the gardening space. Now, what I like to do next, again, to make our lives easier, to go a lot faster, is we can start looking at the high level listing information here. So how are these things performing? So usually when we're looking at these kind of like the high level listing performance details, I personally actually like to look at the listing age first, because if something is doing super well right now, I maybe want to think about adding it to my store, or I maybe want to think about how I can start getting inspiration from it for something else I want to curate. So I'm seeing 8 months, I'm seeing 15 months, and I'm seeing 8 months. So those are not as sexy to me as something else might be, even though we have a good, 3% and 2.82% conversion rate. However, when we look at this guy, first of all, I laughed when I read this. That's it. You're going in the compost. So this is only 3 months old, and it has a comparable conversion rate to another listing that was 15 months old. It's sold an average of 95 times a month with over 7,100 views. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is something I want to add to my favorites. Maybe this is something I want to come back to. So I can easily click the star, and then it would be add to my favorites. You can obviously change the favorites, name if you'd like, the folder name, but you can also go ahead and click on the listing details, which is all of the information that we originally got from the product analytics dashboard. So if we are going into the search first and we are niching down into our specific audience or our specific aesthetic, or again, our specific niche, then we still have the access to all of the information, including the growth rate, which this is only a 3-month-old listing, so we can't go all time, of course, but you can see all of this different information, all of the keywords in this one location by being able to see these high-level listing performance details. This is a 2025 new feature, so something that was just recently brought into EverBee research, and I absolutely love it because, again, if I decide to go this direction and type something into the Etsy search bar, I want to be able to high level look at all of this information as fast as possible. So this one, I'm not even going to look at it. It's not worth my time because there's nothing too hot here right now. This one, however, interesting. Again, it's 11 months old, so it's a little bit older than I would usually like to look at, but that conversion rate is something I very much so like to look at. So this gives us more things that we could maybe add to our favorites to come back to, check out their keywords, check out how their mock-ups are stacked, all those different ideas to see again if it's something that can benefit us. Let's see if we can find one more really good one together. All right, so I actually found 3 really good ones back to back. So we've got a 6-monther, a 4-monther, and a 2-monther, all right next to each other on Etsy search, and they're all best sellers, even this one who is literally 2 months old or less. So we see just one more, which is a goose with a house plant. It is embroidered, which is important to see because that means we can actually charge more. So you'll see this one's $32.99 versus $15.80. They are both comfort colors sitting side by side, but we've got a higher perceived value with the embroidery as a potential option. There's 15 monthly sales on average, a conversion rate a little bit lower than I would want to go, but maybe there's an opportunity to put a discount on the store, or an opportunity to offer free shipping, or an opportunity to maybe have a more lifestyle focused mock-up instead of a flat lay mock-up. A couple of different things that this seller can potentially do, but the good news is we still are bringing in around 5,000 average views a month for something like this, where we know the silly goose trend has been doing super well on Etsy for God knows how long now, probably the past 2 years. And this is that silly goose trend paired with a plant mom trend. Then we have my retirement office. It's very simple. It's text and icon based only. It's comfort colors. It's the moss color, which is super on brand and super trendy for 2026. Again, a 4.8% conversion rate, really decent views. And we can always come over here into the listing details and get a better understanding of what actually took place and what is driving them potentially this exposure for them to be able to get all of these sales. Last but not least, this one looks like it's more of a physical one, but again, it's only 2 months old, and it is a custom garden harvest basket with a very, very healthy conversion rate of around 29 average sales per month. So again, something that might be interesting to look into. So those are 2 different ways that I personally like to get into Etsy and see what is currently doing well right now. What has driven the most sales or has had the highest conversion rates, the best performance in a very short amount of time. There are so many different features that allow me to find these things in literally just a couple of minutes, obviously going a little bit slower than usual because I was trying to show you guys each and every step, but I use all 3 of these: the Etsy search bar, the EverBee keyword research tool, and our product analytics tool to find the hottest things that are doing the best right now so I can always be ahead of everyone else in my market. With that said, I'll see you guys back in the original video.
Thanks, guys. I hope this gave you a head start on finding some of the biggest opportunities for 2026 and beyond. And if you're looking to dive even deeper into the features we talked about within EverBee today, I have a fully updated 2026 tutorial that spotlights all of my favorite features for helping you make more money in less time on Etsy. The video is going to be right above my head for you to add to your queue, and I'll see you guys over there next.